Welcome back. In this video, I'm gonna show you how to use the named agg method in Pandas. So let's go over an example and the specific use case. Alright, I have some data here, treatments and their associated costs. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna group by the column treatment and we're gonna add up all the costs. We're gonna do it the typical way that I do it, and then I'm gonna show you the new named aggregate method. So the first thing we do is we copy our data. Then we are going to head over to our notebook and bring it into Pandas. So let's start by importing Pandas as PD. And once it's imported, let's create a variable and read in our clipboard. Alright, so now that we have our data in a Pandas data frame, how do we group by the treatment column and how do we add up the cost column? So the typical way you do it is you start by creating a group object, and you do that by just going df.groupby, and we said we were going to group by the treatment column. So once we have the group by, then we just everything after that is now we make use of that object. And to add up the cost column, all you got to do is say object dot sum. I think it's simple as that. So when you run it, you'll see that our we group by the column treatment and we added up the cost. And what that means is, for example, radiation, it's here multiple times, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So it just added them all up into one row, and that's how you get this value down here. So the problem that I've noticed is that sometimes I like to change the column name up here after I do the aggregate calculation on the group object, and then I have to use maybe the rename function or some other Pandas function to adjust this. And it would be nice to have it all done at one time, so there is an option for that, and let me show you how to do it. And it's called the aggregate function. So the syntax is you get your object, and then there is an aggregate function, and then within the aggregate function there's another one called pd.namedAgg, just like we saw earlier. And then namedAgg takes a couple parameters, takes a column parameter, what column are you going to aggregate on, and then the aggregate function, what are you actually going to do with it. So let's do that column. It's going to be the cost column, and the aggregate function is going to be sum, because that's we're trying to replicate this result. And then what's cool about this is that you could set the column name, so you could be like sum of cost, and this, whatever you put here on the left side of the equal sign, is going to be the name of your column. So if you run this, you'll see that it created the same result as above, but we got to name the column. And what's cool is this aggregate function not only takes multiple values, like here I'm going to show you another one just so you can see how it looks, but you could also put lambda functions here and call other functions, so it's really flexible. So let's say you wanted to also get the average of the cost column. Well, you just make a few adjustments, and when you run it, there you go, bam. So what's cool about this is that you could do multiple things. Here the aggregate function takes not only a string value of like simple, mean, average, whatever you're going to do, but you could actually put functions here, lambda functions. And what I really like about it is that I could name the columns instantly right here. I don't have to change them after the fact. So Hopefully you enjoyed it, and go out there and make use of this name tag. It's really cool.